Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Zill Noorain's Tafseer series of the Quran. This is part 5 of Surah An Naziat. We are starting with ayah number 42. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يسألونك عن الساعة أيان مرساها فيما أنت من ذكراها إلى ربك منتهاها إنما أنت منذر من يخشاها كأنهم يوم يرونها لم يلبثوا إلا عشية أو ضحاها. Ayah number 42 starts with, they ask you, يسألونك عن الساعة, about that hour, about that time. When is it going to come? أيان مرساها. Every time the idol worshippers of the Quraysh and of the Arab world where Rasulullah ﷺ was preaching and calling them to one Allah and asking them to remember the hereafter and remember that there's going to be a day when they're going to be brought back to life and asked about their questions, they would say, okay, if this day is coming, when is it? They always ask, when is it? When is it? But they're just asking that as a way of making fun of it, as a way of mocking it. Oh, if it's coming, then when is it? But the truth is, nobody knows when it is. But the question that we should be considering is, what have we prepared for it? And that's what Rasulullah ﷺ used to ask us to do. And it's one of those questions that you know that they're not really serious about it. They don't really believe it. They're just mocking it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't even answer it. He doesn't tell us when. Instead, He just tells us that it's happening for sure. فِيمَا أَنْتَ مِن ذِكْرَاهَا. So He replies, in what position are you that you should mention it? فِيمَا أَنْتَ مِن ذِكْرَاهَا. Like, how are you going to be able to tell when it is? Not only to the disbelievers, but any person. Nobody knows when it is. It's in the future, and nobody knows what happens in the future except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All that we know is إِلَى رَبِّكَ مُنْتَهَاهَا. That to our Lord is our finality. That's where we're going to end up anyways. So you don't need to know when it is, you just need to know that it is coming. In ayah number 45, إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مُنذِرُ مَنْ يَخْشَاهَا. So when these people are asking Rasulullah ﷺ, like, when is this day coming? Where is it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells Rasulullah ﷺ that your job is only to give them the warning for it. And those who will fear it and those who will understand the hidden reality, they were going to follow you. The duty is just to give the message. And whether or not people follow it, that's on them. And in the last ayah, it will be like on that day, كَأَنَّهُمْ يَوْمَ يَرَوْنَهَا لَمْ يَلْبَثُوا إِلَّا عَشِيَّةً أَوْ ضُحَاهَا. So on that day, it'll feel like the life of this world was just maybe like one night, one afternoon, one morning. It won't even feel like we lived an entire life. It'll feel like the life that we just left behind was like just a little morning. A quick recap of some of the lessons of Surah An Naziat, that there is no escape from the day of Qiyamah. If you remember at the beginning of the surah, we talked about death and the surety of death. And then at the end of the surah, we talk about what comes after that death. And in the middle, we learned that there is nobody who is powerful enough to prevent what is happening. Even Fir'aun, who was the most powerful king, could not overpower Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided to show him the consequences of his actions. So no one of us will be able to fight against the reality of the Day of Judgment. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then shows us His signs. He says, look at the world around you and look at what He has created for us to enjoy and to use, inshallah, to come nearer to Allah. And so then the Day of Judgment will be easier for those people who had that constant fear in their hearts of knowing or wanting to know how they are going to prepare for that day that's coming, that day that's going to be completely overpowering and nobody will be able to do anything about it. So now that is the end of Surah An Naziat. Please subscribe and like to our channel, and so that you can come and listen to upcoming surahs. Jazakallahu khair.